Hey! This video contains spoilers for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, so if you have yet to play that, come back to this video later. But if you don't care, then feel free to continue watching. I hope you enjoy. In 2020, I got a Switch Lite, and one of the first few games I got for it was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I checked it out, got through the tutorial, did a couple of shrines, opened up a few areas on the map, and then I put the game down because I thought it was boring. Fast forward to 2022. I had since traded in my Switch Lite for a regular Switch, and I figured, hey, maybe I'd enjoy Breath of the Wild with a better controller and a bigger screen. I began playing again, did a few more shrines, unlocked a couple more portions of the map, did some quests, but then I got stuck on Water Blight Ganon, and because mathematically mad does equal bad, I once again put the game down out of frustration. That is until early May 2023. Me and my friends were discussing the new Tears of the Kingdom game that was releasing soon, and I mentioned that I could never really get into Breath of the Wild because I thought it was somewhat boring. That's when my friend Peter chimed in and said something to the effect of, "You're a dipshit if you think that game is boring." Him telling me that was my breaking point. I finally decided, fine, I'll give the game a third and final chance. So once again, I plugged the game into my Switch, booted it up, and I don't think I've ever eaten my words so hard before in my entire life. The game finally clicked for me, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how. So when I loaded back into the game, I decided to explore a little more. Being a Far Cry fan, my first goal was to unlock more parts of the map by activating the Sheikah Towers. I figured that if I tried to expand the map, I'd be able to find more things to do, like discovering new locations, finding shrines, beating up enemies for better weapons, and that's pretty much what happened. I also eventually saved up some rupees so I can go back to the shop, get some better gear, and eventually go back and face Water Blight Ganon. And because more experience plus better gear divided by mad equals not as bad, I was able to beat him pretty easily. After that, I ventured over to the desert section to dick around in the sand for a little bit while looking for the next divine beast. I learned that to progress, I had to figure out a way to conceal that Link was a guy, because men, or Vo, aren't allowed in Gerudo Town. For the most part, this game is pretty hands-off in telling you what exactly you need to do to be able to progress the story. It wants you to find that answer for yourself. In this particular instance, the first thing I tried was to climb over the wall. That didn't work, the penis alarm started going off, and I was promptly kicked out of the village.
This is bullish!
I thought to myself, well, shit, what do I do now? So I decided to talk to some NPCs, and there was a guy that told me that there was another guy just up the road that was able to get into Gerudo Town undetected. Naturally, I went to that town expecting this guy to have some sort of sneaky armor like the Sheikah set. After talking to some more NPCs, I finally figured out where this guy hangs out, and I went to go confront him. To my surprise, I was partially correct. He does wear a certain set of clothing to be able to get into Gerudo Town, but it wasn't what I was expecting. The guy actually cross-dresses to blend into the population of Gerudo Town, which I thought was pretty clever. I didn't even think of that as a possible solution to going into the town. Usually open world games tell you where everything is with big indicator markers on the map, but this game has those, but it uses them pretty sparingly. They usually only mark out where certain NPCs are or where the divine beasts are located. In the Gerudo Town situation, I had to actually talk to people and explore around to find out how exactly I was going to complete the puzzle that the game had presented me with. That's kinda also how they handle shrines. Whenever you enter a shrine, you're given a little nugget of information to help you figure out what you're supposed to do to complete the shrine. Most of the puzzles require you to move some objects around, time things properly, or take control of an entire portion of the area that you're in to complete a puzzle. My favorite puzzle was the memorization one, because before leaving the first shrine, I drew a little picture of the puzzle because the game gave me a message about the shrines being connected in some way. Lo and behold, the other shrine on this mountain had the same thing, and after drawing a picture of that too, I went to put them in the correct order, and boom, the shrine was solved. I also really liked that in the world building, they have recipes for certain things on the sides of the stable walls, so that when I walk into a stable, I can look and see like, oh, cool, there's a recipe for a dish I can make. Although that doesn't make up for the fact that there is no recipe book in this game, but I hear that Tears of the Kingdom fixed that, so I'm not gonna gripe about it. The NPCs are also all incredibly charming. Nearly all of the NPCs feel like they have something to say that can help you on your adventure. It's not Pokemon dialogue. My favorite NPC is Pondo, purely because I absolutely love using my imagination trying to figure out how he affords to pay me 300 rupees every single time I bowl a strike. Come to think of it, it's probably for the best that Link doesn't ask too many questions. I also think it's really cool that the NPCs are modeled after Miis. I like the Wii, so that makes me happy. Lastly, the way you find recall cutscenes. The idea of Link relearning things he once knew by returning to familiar areas is just really cool to me. I thought that was one of the more interesting aspects of the storytelling. With all that positive stuff being said though, I do have some whining to do. These are just things that bothered me personally throughout my playthrough, so if you genuinely disagree with something that I have brought up that I don't like, then please feel free to make a case for it in the comments. I would love to have a conversation about it.
Get no kick from champagne.
There are some areas of the game that I feel are just a bit undercooked or are just kinda irritating to me. First off, the world itself is kinda empty. Yes, there is some cool stuff to find in the world, but it's few and far between. Whenever I go up to the highest point that's closest to me, all I'm seeing is shrines and Sheikah towers in the distance. Besides stables, some enemy outposts, fairy fountains, and some rundown buildings, there isn't really anything exciting to find within the open world. The Korok seeds, while useful for inventory space, are not exactly the most exciting things to happen across. I kinda just shrug my shoulders and go, oh cool, another Korok seed, nice. One thing that I have mixed feelings on is weapon durability. I understand why it's there. The developers wanted people to experiment with different weapons as opposed to just using one throughout your entire adventure. That's fine, but sometimes when I'm using a weapon, it feels like I've only killed maybe 3 guys before the thing breaks. If the weapons didn't have the durability of paper mache, I'd be fine with this feature. But as it stands right now, I kinda get irritated by it whenever I'm just trying to fight something and then I get that annoying little message that says, oh, your weapon's gonna break in about 2 more hits. I've only killed 3 people. Why can't I have more durability? The Blight Ganons also have some issues. I had a lot of trouble with Water Blight Ganon and to an extent Thunder Blight Ganon. But then I got the Master Sword before my last fight with Thunder Blight Ganon. It was my last fight because the Master Sword cut through him like a stick of butter. And I pretty much did the same thing to Wind Blight and Fire Blight Ganon respectively, which honestly kinda disappointed me. I had struggled so much against Water Blight Ganon, I thought, oh, it's probably gonna get more difficult from here. And at first it did, but then the Master Sword kinda just made it really, really easy. I mean, I beat the last 2 guys on the first try. They weren't even I just shot him with a couple of bomb arrows, and then when they fell down, wail on them with the Master Sword. This problem somewhat extends to Calamity Ganon too, but here's the thing. I have not played Master Mode, so I don't know if any of these difficulty problems I'm talking about are remedied in that, but if they are, feel free to make fun of me in the comments for not doing an in-depth enough job, I guess. Anyway, I started the final battle, he came out, his design, his entrance, all of that was awesome. I absolutely loved it. And then all the divine beasts that I had freed shot out and knocked his health bar down, and I was just thinking to myself, oh my god, I didn't think they'd help that much. That's great, that'll help me out loads. After a little bit of time, I ended up beating him on my first try, which I was like, I struggled, so I'm not gonna say it was an easy boss fight, but it was easier than I expected. After he was defeated, I saw him kind of evaporate up into the sky, and I thought, oh nice, I beat Ganon on my first try, this is so cool. Then his second phase started, and my horse spawned next to me, and all I could think was, oh, good. Besides that, Dark Beast Ganon looks fucking stupid, and I'm really mad that this is the last fight before the end of the game. You get the Bow of Light, which is basically just, you have infinite shots of light arrows, and then you shoot a couple of targets on Divine Beast Ganon, and he's down. If it were up to me, I would completely scrap Divine Beast Ganon and give Calamity Ganon either a more diverse move pool or a third phase, because he's kind of got 2 phases where he glows on fire, something after that. But I would never in a million years want that stupid Divine Beast Ganon to be the final fight in an otherwise really cool final battle. Finally, I want to talk about the ending. I went out and got all of the recall memories so I could get the true ending. All in all, the true ending cutscene, it was okay. I'm satisfied for the most part. I'm glad Link and Zelda are continuing their journey into stopping future events like Calamity Ganon. Despite all of my whining, I think this is one of my favorite games on the Switch. I'm so glad I finally got the kick in the ass to play this game, because I genuinely, it's a good ass game. If you haven't played it yet and you're kind of on the fence like I was, play it. Trust me, man, just do it. Anyway, without further ado, Zelda fans, I'm sorry for talking shit on this game. It's genuinely amazing. I hope you all have a good day. All right. Cool, I'm a Zelda fan now.